Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this absolutely epic explainer, where we're heading straight into the ancient desert for one of the greatest hero journeys of all time. Picture this, a vibrant, starry night sky, endless sand dunes blowing in the wind, and a man named Moses who is about to receive a mission that will literally change the course of history forever. Now, I want you to imagine something wild. Imagine being asked to face the absolute most powerful king on the entire planet, the mighty Pharaoh of Egypt. But you're terrified. You feel totally unqualified, your knees are knocking, and honestly, you're just too scared to even open your mouth. Well, that is exactly how Moses felt. He had this huge, incredibly scary mission to free his people, the Israelites. But inside, he was full of doubt. And that brilliantly illustrates exactly where we start today. Moses is standing in the wilderness, staring wide-eyed at a miraculous, crackling burning bush, and he gives his very first excuse. He looks right at God, known as Adonai, and says, "But I'm certain they won't believe me. They won't listen to a word I say." He is just terrified his own people are going to laugh in his face and say, "Yeah, right, Adonai did not appear to you." So what does God do when Moses panics? He doesn't drop a massive army from the sky, and he doesn't hand him a glowing magical sword. Instead, Adonai simply asks, "What is that in your hand?" Moses looks down and says, "A staff." Just a simple, everyday wooden shepherd's walking stick. And you guys, this brings us to our very first huge takeaway for today. God uses the ordinary. When Moses questions his ability to lead, God shows him that he can take the simple, everyday tools and talents you already have and use them to do something absolutely incredible. Let's see how this builds into pure excitement. God tells Moses to throw that ordinary walking stick right onto the ground. Boom! It instantly turns into a live, slithering snake. Moses actually recoils and jumps back. I mean, wouldn't you? But God tells him to reach out and grab it right by the tail, and the second he does, it instantly becomes a wooden staff again. Then, a second sign. God tells Moses to put his hand inside his coat. When he pulls it out, it is totally diseased, leprous, and white as snow. He puts it back in, and when it comes out again, it's completely healthy. Finally, God says if they still don't believe those two signs, Moses is to pour water from the Nile River right onto the dry land, and it will instantly turn into red blood. Now, you might be wondering, why all these wild, crazy miracles? Well, it's all about our second big moral, overcoming fear with faith. You see, God graciously provided Moses with these amazing signs to build his trust and prove his divine mission. Stepping forward in faith means taking action and trusting God, even when you still feel totally fearful or inadequate on the inside. But guess what? Moses still isn't convinced. No way. He tries another excuse, pleading with God, "Oh, Adonai, I'm a terrible speaker. I always have been. My words come slowly, my tongue moves slowly." Even after seeing a crazy snake trick and a magically healing hand, Moses still doubts his own abilities. He thinks he's just too slow at speaking to ever convince a mighty Pharaoh to listen to him. I absolutely love how God responds here. He asks a powerful question right back. Who gives a person a mouth? Who makes a person dumb or deaf, keen-sighted or blind? Isn't it I, Adonai? God is promising to be right there with Moses and teach him exactly what to say. And this gives us our third incredible moral for today. Your weakness is not a barrier. Despite Moses arguing that he's slow of speech, God reminds him that the very creator of human mouths has it totally covered. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. So you'd think Moses would be totally ready to march straight to Egypt now, right? Nope. He flat out begs, "Please, Lord, send someone else, literally anyone you want." Now, Adonai's anger actually blazes up at this refusal. But here's what is so fascinating about this story. Instead of just giving up on Moses or zapping him, God provides a helper. He doesn't cancel Moses' mission at all. He adapts it to help him succeed. Which brings us to an awesome new super team. Moses is still going to be the designated leader, holding God's powerful staff. But to help him out, we have his brother, Aaron. God says Aaron is a fantastic speaker, and get this, he's actually already on his way into the desert to meet Moses. Moses will put the words in Aaron's mouth, so Aaron is going to be the brave speaker to the people, and Moses will be like God to him, guiding the way. All right, let's track the journey. Moses finally says yes to the mission, and this highlights our final, absolutely crucial moral, the importance of obedience. A willing, obedient heart is way more important to God than being perfectly fearless or a perfect speaker. First, Moses returns to his father-in-law Jethro and gets a blessing to leave in peace. Second, he packs up his wife and sons on a donkey, gripping God's staff tight in his hand. Third, they hit a really scary lodging place out in the desert. And fourth, they eventually reach the mountain of God. Let's zoom in on that third step for a second, because it is an intense night. Out there in the dark desert, Adonai meets Moses and is actually very upset because Moses hadn't fully obeyed God's rules for his own family. But his wife, Zipporah, she springs right into action. She bravely does exactly what God commanded with a flintstone, protecting her family and totally saving the day. Her super quick action saves Moses' life, reinforcing once again that total obedience to God is absolutely required on this wild journey. As they travel, God gives Moses a very serious heads up about what's waiting for them in Egypt. Even with all these amazing wonders they're about to perform, Pharaoh is going to be incredibly stubborn. God says he will make Pharaoh hard-hearted, and he is going to flat out refuse to let the people go. God commands Moses to declare to Pharaoh, "Israel is my firstborn son. Let him go. If you refuse, I will kill your firstborn son." It seriously sets the stage for a massive, epic showdown. But before that massive showdown, we get this beautiful, happy family moment. The brothers finally reunite. Adonai tells Aaron to go into the desert to meet Moses, and they find each other right at the mountain of God. Aaron kisses Moses, and Moses excitedly shares everything, all the commands, the crazy magical signs, and the big plan to free their people. The super team is officially assembled and ready to go. And this brings us to the triumphant finale of our explainer. They actually make it all the way to Egypt. They gather every single one of the Israelite leaders together. Aaron confidently speaks every single word Adonai had told them. Then Moses steps right up and performs the incredible signs right before their eyes. And hey, remember Moses' very first fear back at the burning bush? They won't believe me. Well, guess what? They did believe. When they heard that Adonai had remembered the people of Israel and had seen how they were oppressed, the people bowed their heads and worshipped. What an amazing start to an epic rescue mission. It proves that with just a little faith and obedience, God can use the most ordinary things and ordinary people to do the totally extraordinary. But what on earth is going to happen when Moses finally stands face to face with the stubborn Pharaoh? Will the king of Egypt actually listen? Click the bell button, like, share, and subscribe.